This week I'm going to show you how we took a bathroom that looked like an absolute murder scene in our 1970s fixer-upper and turned it into something that looks a little more like this. Of course, along the way there was a lot of chaos. That's not great. I will end you. Thank you. If any of these three explode, then we lose. Sometimes progress looks like a toilet in the bathtub. Just me and my friend at the toilet. Hanging out. Life is just one big OSHA violation. And if you're a home inspector and this is incorrect, I'm so sorry, I'm not accepting feedback at this time. Thank you so much. Hi, welcome back. I'm Kate, and buried deep in here is my cat Julian. And on this channel, I usually do a lot of sewing or historical-based things, but today, you're getting your first home renovation video. Have I been gone for a year? Yes. Did we spend an entire year on this one project? Maybe. We are going over the more than a year-long renovation of the bathroom, which used to look like a murder scene, in this fixer-upper house from the 1970s. It was vacant for 3 years before we moved in, so it was in not the best repair, and we've been fixing a lot of things behind the scenes that aren't that interesting on camera. But this is the first fully finished project, so come along as we fix up this bathroom on a budget. If you haven't seen the house tour video, let me briefly remind you of the chaos we were working with. Several layers of flooring that are all falling to pieces. Deeply creepy countertop. And since the flooring is so bad, we've been afraid to come over here where it's like falling apart. So we didn't notice that there's an entire area back here with a washer hookup and cabinets. This is so deeply murdery. Like, deeply murdery. Like, what even happened in here? With all the love that this place needs, we decided to refinish the rusty spray-painted bathtub instead of replacing it. So we started by sanding off several crimes against humanity, or grimes against humanity. So quite a bit's been done already. Along here has been removed and sanded. Down here and along the walls still needs to be cleaned up and sanded, prepped for painting, essentially. Now please enjoy this PPE ASMR. Anyone else getting crime scene type vibes? Alright, so what have we got here? Give it to me straight. There's a lot of rust buildup, and they tried to cover up the crime with regular paint. You hate to see it. They thought they could get away with it. Why is it always the good ones that come to a messy end? Maybe I've just been listening to too many murder podcasts. At this point, dear viewer, you might be asking yourself why I'm using a wire brush head on a battery-operated drill to sand all of the old paint off of this shower when clearly an orbital sander that's corded would be a much better choice. Well, that's because we needed to get it prepped for epoxy paint, but we had no heat, no water, no power, and no tools because they were locked up in a storage unit in South Carolina. But that did not deter me from this insane quest. Looking pretty good. Got quite a bit off. Still a lot left to do. Mostly up here, over there, and then really getting the rust at the bottom. Yeah. Ideally, we'd like to completely replace this part of the bathroom, but to make the bathroom usable in the time being and about 500% less murdery, we decided to refinish the tub shower combo with epoxy paint that's made specifically for this purpose. And it is extremely noxious, which is why I'm wearing my specialty PPE. As high as a kite, but I finished my first coat. Burned or no more. Hopefully with the second coat it'll look less streaky. Spoiler alert, I ended up purchasing and moving a fridge in between coats, which was way longer than that paint was supposed to set between coats, so it was extremely streaky when I was done, and we had to redo the whole thing later. Oops. Anyways, here's a test patch where we removed the existing paneling and we tried to patch the wall using mud. It was a medium success. Despite sanding and reapplying between coats, it was never quite as smooth as an actual drywall wall. I'm sorry, friends. I've got to go back to the murder podcast because I'm getting bored. After approximately 3 months of going to the local library to charge all of our devices, we finally got connected to power, and then it was time to replace the light in the bathroom. So we gotta get this guy up there. This process was, in fact, not thumbs up smiley face, because this house is ancient and everything is falling apart, and anything that should take 10 minutes actually takes 3 days. The screws were completely rusted and stripped, so it was insanely hard to get this done, but we flipped the power back on to see if our amateur electrical job actually worked. First? Wow. Wow! First ever functioning light in this bathroom. Hey! Wait. It's backwards. Oh. Well, uh-oh. Oh, no. Excuse me. Oh no. Excuse me. Oh no. Well, that's not great. Electrical is the bane of my existence. Looks like it might have popped. Sir, excuse me. This is not a place for kittens to sit. Huh. I want to see it work again. Oh, that's something in here. Yeah. So much for having a working light. Yep, we popped again. Then it snowed, so I did what anyone would do and made a quilted petticoat out of a thrift store curtain and then proceeded to plumb. Time to get back to work. I will end you. Thank you. This video is brought to you by Color the Bard, my Shakespeare-themed coloring book. You ever asked yourself, to plumb or not to plumb? That is the question, whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous toilets. Whether you're into cottagecore vibes, lightweight sewing burns, or, straight up murder, it's got something for everybody. Ask for Color the Bard at your favorite bookstore or get it through online retailers. As part of the quest to finally get the shower working, we're gonna address this situation up here. It needs a new P-trap installed. First we have to get rid of this. The pipe was shoved up in there, so we gotta cut it off above where it's flared out. And then we will install the P-trap here. So this guy will need to be cut and attached to this guy, and then that whole situation will go into there. Straight or level? I think we might be making excuses. Okay, that was just dry fit in there. I don't think that's how it's supposed to be plumbed. And we need to cut this piece to size. And we got a metal to PVC coupling. Then we're gonna put some plumber's tape on the threads before threading it on. And then we'll glue all the PVC parts together after doing dry fits and cutting and sanding and all the prep work. So this is what I call the pepper grinder. This tightens and loosens so these can move. So that's where it ended originally, and then with the coupling screwed up higher, this is where it ended now. So I want to see about just kind of evening that out a little. Okay, so just cut off the uneven bit. It's got some lumps, but it's better. All right, so this is dry fit number 2. Everything's looking good. This isn't fully tightened, and all of these need to be primed and glued together. Several hours later. Okay, getting these cans unscrewed was the hardest part so far, thanks to the rubber on these gloves and several tools and a lot of banging. They are now open.
It is so pretty. So pretty. So pretty. Plumbing. God, I hope it works. We're just one step closer to taking indoor showers. Obviously, I could really use an indoor shower.
Along with power came our well water, which was made more complicated by the fact that we had no handles.
I missed it, but that disgustingness just came out. It was like all clear and then fell out eventually. It was hot though.
With running hot water and working plumbing, I was thrilled to take my first shower. Kirsten's coming, so we're finally fixing up the last pieces of the bathroom that are important. There's an electrician coming to fix this because we tried our darndest, but it still short circuits everything. And we're gonna be fixing the very extremely dangerous floor under the toilet so we don't have to use these little ramps to get on anymore. But to do that, we have to cut the cabinet along here, and then remove the toilet, and then remove the floor, and then replace the floor. It'd be great. But the shower is useful. We've been using it. It's lovely. Still missing handles, but we can turn it on with the pliers. When the electrician comes, the plumber's coming to replace it back here in the hole of doom, so we can actually put handles on. We broke out the power tools to get rid of this 1970s counter that was full of rat poop. Here's an aesthetic shot for your viewing pleasure, illustrating how it's been multiple seasons since we started this project. Beautiful. Then we got into some plumbing action by cutting and capping pipes that used to go to laundry upstairs, which we're now moving downstairs. You're next, Buster. There we have it. These guys are getting capped next. And this guy's getting removed, because we're not doing the washer here anymore. It'll be over there in future. It's delivery time. Yeah, thank you. What you doing? Very intense home renovations. I'm basically nail filing this little copper plumbing piece. Gotta make it flat. Gotta shape it. Moment of truth. Turning on the pump. You have water pressure again. Fingers crossed, nothing explodes. That's new. Seem happy. Heck yeah, look at that. Okay, we're doing a stress test. If any of these three explode, there, then we lose. Pretty good. Second career is gonna be as a plumber. I'm gonna need any home inspectors or contractors to look away now, but at this point we sistered the joist that's underneath the toilet, which was sagging, and this is done to make it more stable for the flooring that we put down. It might have been a little questionable, but it seems to be working. Sometimes progress looks like a toilet in the bathtub instead of in the toilet spot. We're making the house look better because my friend Kirsten's visiting. We have ripped out the toilet and we're gonna rip out the floor next. But the best thing is, we now have light. So I'm actually working on flooring in the other room, but I'm gonna do the inaugural snack here too. And this is from the house. We found it in the basement, but it is gonna help us destroy the old bits and put in the new bits. This is just crumbly, gross paper at this point. If you're in the market for some stress relief and just screaming into the void isn't doing it for you, I highly recommend destroying a floor. Dumpster! And then up the dumpster. Okay, bye! I'll go sweep that up next. We're starting to get to the point where I could fall in. Just me and my friend, the toilet. Hanging out. I leave for one day, and all this gets done. That is quite the drop. Life is just one big OSHA violation. If you're attached to the concept of life, don't try this at home, kids. At this point, I was so incredibly harried and then caught COVID that I really failed to take any good video of what we did next, but I managed to paint the walls white and we got the plumbing redone, at least in part. Then we laid peel and stick vinyl flooring on the new subflooring beneath and grouted it to make it look more finished, and then I kind of stopped filming for a bit. Oh, what a good helper. Oh my goodness. Such a good helper. Then I was assisted in my plumbing endeavors by Meadow, the sweetest dog ever, who I was watching for a friend. She was a very good supervisor. She kept track of the plumbing we were installing in the new Vanity that we got from the Habitat for Humanity because it has 2 sinks instead of 1.
There's hair in the drain. That's what happens when you ever use drain. You have used hair. No.
The inspector awaits.
This is when understanding righty tighty lefty loosey would be useful. Life hack. Hold that out.
What you doing?
Water. Well, I guess the first issue is that we had one sink here before, and we're putting in two sinks, so we're splitting everything, which means we've got the little brass fitting that's a splitter on the hot over here and the cold over here, and they each go to their respective faucet. And then we have one drain for the two sinks, so there's our splitter for the drain, and we'll have one set that goes on this side and then one set from the other side that goes to that side for the wastewater to go down.
That looks so amazingly professional.
I know. And if you're a home inspector and this is incorrect, shut up, it's right. Let me put that more gently. I'm so sorry, I'm not accepting feedback at this time. Thank you so much.
This is the plumbing that we installed on each side. It's mirrored over there for the other sink. This is a plastic kit that is IATMO certified that makes it easy for you to re-plumb existing spaces. And we have each of them connecting to the splitter, which goes down to the single drain, same way that we have the two water sources that then split off. Plumbing complete. At this point, it was time for some finishing touches, so we took a quarter round, sanded it down, sanded off a little bit of the back edge so it would sit more flush, and then it was time to move on to the next step, as if this weren't just absolutely riveting. To provide extra waterproofing, we used the rest of the enamel paint from the shower and coated the quarter round in it. Now please enjoy some gentle painting ASMR. I'm so sorry, that was actually just the ambient ASMR of the well pump. Anyway, here's a time lapse. Unfortunately, our first attempt at refinishing the tub and shower didn't go so well, so we had to end up sanding it back down because there were a lot of drips and the bottom started flaking off, but we wanted to try again with marine paint, which looks a bit better, but the bottom is still flaky, unfortunately. This time with hindsight, electricity, and an orbital sander, it was much easier to sand it. Unfortunately, I did dress like Urkel to complete this project, so please forgive me. I once again failed to film, but we installed peel and stick vinyl wallpaper behind the vanity to act like a backsplash. So Mom built this very full half wall that's been drywalled and mudded. So now the plan is to take this little piece of trim wood to cover it, and this was extra trim that came with these guys that we got from the Habitat for Humanity restore. This used to be like a baseboard thing, but she added these two edges, and then now we've got this little trim guy there to kind of finish it off, and that's going to be the nice little cap to the half wall. After nearly a year and a half of piecemeal DIY renovations on a budget, having to flush the toilet with rainwater when we had no electricity, having to get on the toilet with ramps when we didn't have secure flooring underneath, we're very excited to have a bathroom that now looks like this, which is the first quote-unquote finished room in the house. We're not going to talk about the fact that the tub is no longer draining. We'll save that for another day. This is all perfect and beautiful. There's nothing wrong with this bathroom. This has been an extremely rewarding team effort, and it's very exciting to see progress in the house after feeling like a lot of the effort was put in getting things back to where they should have been after the house has been empty for so long. And there are a lot of things to finish or fix with this, but we're very excited to have a bathroom in this good of shape. To be completely candid, there were a lot of struggles involved, and at times it was so disheartening because in the attempt to fix one thing, you found out there were 15 other things that you had to fix first that were much less exciting and felt like the goal line was moving further and further away. But we learned a lot of skills along the way, and I think they'll come in handy with renovating all the other things that we have left to fix in this weird, wonderful, patched together place. This little red brick fixer that we love so much, and that only sometimes tries to kill us. Thanks so much for watching, and in the meantime, keep renovating even though there's no end in sight. Or, you know, just keep making.
Hey, do you approve of the bathroom? It's good? What do you think?
Oh, it's good. Approved. Okay, usually the toilet paper, which is on some wire that we pulled out of the house, lives right there, but it was really stealing focus from all the shots, so I had to pull it for a second there. To plumb or not to plumb? That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous toilets, or to take up wrenches against them, and by twisting clockwise end them.